tournament. FaZe going out in 9th place last round, slipping down the leaderboard ever so slightly. And now for Tempo Storm and Space Station Gaming, they are going to have to hold tightly onto their positions as it is very close headed into this second to last game.
It's just neck and neck. This round is so important. You want to get a little bit more breathing room. Everybody is just so close on the leaderboard. And we talk about it. PUBG is all about that stability, making sure you adapt, repeatedly perform. This is the point. All the pressure's on. You have to perform in these next 2 rounds. So we've got a very nice playing path.
We've been so lucky. Yeah, we've been so lucky with these playing paths. And obviously, I just want to say that that feature on ePyro is amazing. One of the highlights of the production so far that has been world class throughout the entire 2 days that we've been here. And you know what you said to me in the early game when we were watching that? Am I going to be easier on Andy? I mean, great personality.
Chat loves him now.
Great personality.
You know, if you say, "Oh, he rotated
it's time to start
position.
clicking your mouse, Andy. We're all behind you, but let's see some performance.
All right. Well, okay. So with this, we've got Envy going where we expect to go. Ghost doing their hard push. Hey, looks like they're mostly together, except for Profi is down at the bottom part. They looks like they went down and grabbed
What is
them both.
Ghost doing? They're just on a leisurely...
They're taking a scenic view. They're just kind of riding around and enjoying all the greatness of Military Base Island.
Indeed. Well, for Ghost, a little bit of a disjointed performance so far. They find themselves very far down the leaderboard, definitely in the back half. But for now, really for Tempo Storm having such a great performance last time around, you heard Maluk say it. We just have to go out and win.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Moses, it's all just about this performance. NRG opting back into that same strategy we saw them around Stalber beforehand. So now we've got our guys that are kind of all condensed around where we expect. Tempo Storms, they're going to do their hard push over, and they're going to loot around the GAT area. I don't think we've had a really good chance to talk about Tempo Storm's looting strategy. They kind of do something different than everybody else. Instead of dropping into like really hard, really dense locations where there are a lot of buildings, they'll go separate out. They'll just each kind of take their own little couple of building problems, and they'll kind of like take them, and then they'll regroup about, I don't know, about 2 minutes before the first circle ends.
Right.
And then it'll all just be about working together from that stage forward. So you can see it's just going to be drop off this person, drop off this person, and push across.
Not changing anything. Tempo Storm, the legendary strategy of not much to change. They're going to stick around that GACA region, do that trash loot strategy, spread out among all the different compounds. Energy holding on to that Stalber area once again. Now for Optic, they came so close last game. They bumped up 1 spot, overtaking Method for that 4th place position. They're only 200 points behind FaZe now.
And you know that it's going to make a lot of the Green Wall really happy. They've been really rooting for, we've been seeing it through chat all through the day before we came on. Green Wall was showing up in high effect, really trying to support their guys. And slowly and steadily, they're creeping up the leaderboard now.
So for Optic, always in Razak, trying to split around that area. What has been the key for them, this consistency? They've been such a good team, but not quite breaking into that top 3 as of late.
It seems to be rotations. They always opt into moving either a little bit too early and coming into a spot that's already been claimed, so they take a couple of casualties, or they just kind of get caught up in these little mini skirmishes on the outside. With a circle like this, it should be fairly comfortable. They shouldn't have to transition too far. But to note, we still have a lot of Military Base Island that is inside of the circle, which does mean there is a chance we could see it shift down that direction.
Well, from a probability standpoint, likely we will not see a military base ending. However, that channel that separates the main island and the military base is in play, so that always plays a factor. You don't want to gamble and cross too soon, especially if you would think, like you're just mentioning, that it might shift south. Unlikely at this stage, but for Method, finding themselves in Pachinki, no rotations required, at least for the first half of this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty comfortable. There's nothing too terribly scary inside of a circle like this. Just the guys that are going to be up north might have a little bit harder transition to come back down. But really, let's be honest, that's like 3 teams. There's a couple of teams that are on the eastern side, about 3 or 4 teams as well. Everybody else, still plenty of spaces to play around side of here. It's all the areas of PUBG that everybody is very familiar with. So everybody's got their little de facto homes that they like to drop into.
Envious having a great start to day number 1, finding themselves now nearly in the middle of the leaderboard. Not the result they hoped going into day 2. I spoke briefly to Bixel he was joking, but he's like, classic day number 2, we need to get it together.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of one of the running stories with a couple of the NA teams is, you know, like there's the big meme / joke that we love to make about FaZe on Sunday, where they just explode and they just climb up the leaderboard. On the flip side of that, NA has a tendency to like come out gates really strong, perform great. I'm just talking like frag out all over the place, and then day 2 moves a little bit more passive because they're trying to secure these point positions, and then they just don't take those clutch opportunities.
Well, we are here in beautiful Las Vegas at the WSOE Pan Continental, and maybe it's time to do some gambling if you're some of these guys who are in the lower half of the leaderboard.
Oh, at this point, you have to try to mix something up. Specifically, like if you're Team Gates at this point, you have to be very disappointed with performance. We were talking about it last round. These are guys, they qualified for Berlin. You know they were coming in here riding high. They feel really good. You know that, again, they want to make some type of statement. The bottom part of the leaderboard is actually still very, very close. If you look at those like last 5 or 6 spots, they're all right on top of each other.
There's Andy Bate out in the field. Andy Pyro not shy of jumping in a vehicle and going for the first crate he sees. It has landed just to the west of where they are currently looting. Now, if he had seen it, he would have gone already, knowing Andy Pyro, but a little bit of a jaunt out there. Wildcard isn't, or sorry, excuse me, Tempo Storm is in the area, and Sharpshot being the closest one.
I love this position coming out from Etsy. You can see that he always shifts back down and plays along that hillside. The reason why the guys can continue to loot inside of Pachinki, but then he can kind of come down into this area, and you can see as he crests up around this hillside, there's so much vision, and he can get so much information as everybody does their transitions in this side of the phase, or he can potentially just net some free kills based off of it. I love the way that Method specifically plays around the Pachinki area.
Now, we did see the AK, not the friend of 8C the last round, having a bit of trouble hitting his target out in the open field there. But for 8C, the shift in Method's leadership style. Essentially, Andy Pyro has backed away from the in-game leader role. 8C has taken control there. Method having a sneakily good tournament. They are definitely improving every time I see them with their newest roster. They are within striking distance of Optic in that 4th place spot, but what do they need to do here to try and just take the next step? I think it's probably keeping Andy alive more than 5 minutes.
I think that's the big factor. We see Method lose a couple of members here and there, specifically
really,
in the rotation phase.
Not
it's
necessarily
not always
just,
Andy.
not just Andy, you're right.
I know the joke is Andy, but it's not always Andy. Usually it's about a member or two. Okay, maybe it's Andy. But still, they tend to always lose a member, and I would say about circle 2, and some type of bad rotation that comes through there, and then sometimes lose another one in about the 5th circle after that. So they always come in with either like 1 member or just 2 members at that stage. If you think about it, most of the big standout performances that we've seen come from Method are when they're by themselves.
Yeah, indeed. And it is a team game. FaZe has been playing it so far, but Space Station Gaming, a team I find myself not forgetting about, but they've been so quiet. They've been quiet.
Yeah, that's the way to play.
Until all of a sudden, it's Space Station Gaming in the top 4. I've spent a lot of time talking to these guys. I met these guys way back when last year, before they were even competing in leagues. And now they find themselves in position to take a win here, but they have to get through Cloud9 first.
And this is really important. Keep in mind, this is the 2nd place team right now. They were starting a forward push. Smurf goes down on the transition there. You can see the fact that he was trying to go for a stop. Motorcycle, Cloud9 in a great position. Gonna take him down. That's real bad news for Space Station Gaming.
That's 10 Fs in the chat for Smurf. 10 Fs right there as he goes down first in this game. Cloud9 picking up another first blood, the bounty in their sights now, but for Space Station Gaming, not a great start.
Frolicker stayed in that spot a little bit too long trying to get some more information, but he should be able to retreat back down the hillside. They got their kill. They're content with it. They have a pretty good idea on where Space Station is at. Space Station is inside the circle, so there's no rush for them to like transition at this directed point. But again, Smurf is one of their star performers inside of this. You can see them, he really steps up in a lot of these clutch moments. Him going down very early, that's bad news for Space Station.
It's a long time in the lobby for old Smurf, but they do find themselves with a nice spot in the play zone. Shiv going down. Venerated picking up a down there. He's going to be able to finish that off as the Lonely US coasts to a stop. Now for Vitality, still finding themselves in the lower half of the leaderboard, climbing themselves out of last place. That belonging to Team Gates, a team headed to Berlin in only a couple of weeks.
And look at this right next to FaZe. I mean, this is going to be real bad for Vitality. You run right through one shooting range, and now you're in another one. Luckily, you can see that FaZe is going for a reposition. They're trying to regroup around this area. That's going to give a little bit of a reprieve from the guys from Vitality, so that way they can try to get up to this hillside. I like the fact that they like to play this area. It's a very interesting section of the map, specifically because we do know there is that small chance it could go back to military, so you can just hop off that cliffside, make the swim across.
So for NRG, holding strong in the northern portion of the map. They started in Stalber. They haven't made it very far from there. Penta LOL. Dignitas also arriving. Hetror and the rest of Optic split currently. But look at this. Alliance and Tempo Storm starting to get closer to each other. Really liking the strategy here from Tempo.
And yeah, I mean, they're doing such a great job. They've already done their little bit of looting path. They've already regrouped. You got Ghost, they've already jumped inside of their vehicles. Not too far, you can see that they're about to cross into the safe circle right now. McCoy already doing a hard press in because, again, it's about centering. These teams want to not have to move, so they always opt into as close to the center as they can get. Meanwhile, we've got Optic, a little bit of beat on Wookie Bookie off in the distance. That's going to be a hard shot to hit. But I got to say, they nailed it. They dropped a guy on a motorcycle about 200 meters out.
Quickly following up is Hypoc, the rest of Dignitas quickly having to change course. But unfortunately, looks like Hypoc is going to get tangled up here with Adam. I'm not sure if Kaint has decided to stop and support his teammate. Looks like Adam's going to try and make a run for it. That motorcycle flying away. Oh, just barely getting away from Optic.
He's going full motocross right now. You could hear he just hit the rev, went all the way down the hillside, taking it down sideways. He's just like, nope, we got to get out of here. Still bullets kind of cascading, landing around him, but he's out and away at the direct time. But we have Envy caught up in a fight with FaZe. This close. Nate's come out and gets a drop onto one.
Nice defensive throw. That smoke grenade coming out, trying to protect Mixie. Venerated is down to Yempty. And Fuzz also goes down. This is a huge problem for FaZe, trying to get away from the Knights.
Way off in the distance. Look at this. Just
he's got to stop.
It in on him. They know. They're seeing this kill feed. They know what's happening right now. You know Knights wants to down FaZe right now.
They are going all hands on deck, trying to get these reses off. The Knights and Vitality also trying to join in. FaZe not able to be saved. Big loss for FaZe here in the early game.
Looks like Caden's going to go for a res over to Venerated. That should be fairly safe. Really, it's just Knights that has a good angle onto FaZe. It's going to lock them down. Smokes are going to provide enough cover for potentially get the res, but now they have to do a retreat. You can see that Jesse Lowell and Check Shooter are way off, holding a side flank position, but trying to fire up a hillside, and that's kind of rough to do.
Venerated is up, but he is stuck right now. Caden trying to protect him from FaZe. Not in a position to do anything aggressive, already losing Fuzz Face, but the rest of Envious is not going to allow any maneuverability. FaZe really wants to try and pick up some kills here. Mixie's stuck in the Shack matchup. They have to back off, I think.
Look at that. He managed to cross. Perfect timing. He stepped away the moment Check Shooter looked away. A little bit of luck favoring him inside of that one. I don't think that he had the right vision for that angle, but he managed to make the cross. So FaZe now managed to regroup a little bit more. Now it's all on to Envy to figure out how they want to disengage or where they want to go next. New circle is about to stop, or is about to pop. So let's see if this fight might stop and might go for a reposition as neither one of these guys are inside the circle.
Shifting further towards Pachinki. Method finding themselves in the center again. Ghost, I guess, is still trying to find each other, but they have found a compound to call home. Method in good position here. Totality also in the center, but for our top teams, all have to transition at least slightly. Cloud9 and, Tempo Storm having to move towards Ghost, but really for Tempo, not a lot to do.
Well, this is kind of their home. We're over in Gatka area. I mean, most of the circle is still inside the Gatka fields, so they have a lot of control inside of this area. Optics kind of going for a little bit of a reposition. These guys that are on the far western area, or far eastern side, are going to have to make their way back over. Like I say, Knights are in a great position, trying to catch FaZe. They move off in the distance.
Oh, another
and they
down.
Net another one. This is turning real bad for FaZe. As there's another drop off in the distance. Knights are just beated in on FaZe right now. Hexetti's got to jump on a motorcycle.
He's
just trying to go. If they line up this shot, this is so bad for them.
Oh, wow. Hax has to just bail on Mixie. There's nothing to be done. Disastrous start for FaZe Clan here. Hax has got to find somewhere to now just hide, but he's headed right towards Totality. Cloud9 ready to receive him as well. Looks like he's headed for the Wizard Tower. Let's see if he can make it.
He's just trying to opt into whatever he can. He's trying to play across the hillside. He's trying to play along these divots. He has to know that Method's going to be up on that hillside. That's where they love to play. He's just got to find somewhere safe. The problem is moving out into this field. Sure, there's a little bit of safety because you get separation away from the hills, but now everybody sees you. So if there's any ambush waiting, it can just pounce right on top of you. And looks like FaZe could be cutting off to where Zampa's at. Nope, he's making his way back down south.
He's just got to find somewhere safe.
He's just going to find safe.
A nice bush to call his own, but he has been receiving fire this entire time, so he can't stop anywhere yet. He knows he'll get that follow-up. Maybe the Shack is the one he's going to choose, and it will be. So for Hax, it is all on him now to preserve this round. FaZe in a precarious position, third place right now, but they need a decent finishing.
But here's the problem. He's by himself in a Shack, just very loudly drove a motorcycle up to it. Several teams know about that position, so it's all going to be on a reposition. If he has to move, so many bullets are going to be coming his way. Speaking of bullets coming his way, we've got Gates catching a little bit of airtime, landed on the front wheel, still trying to make their way through it, but they're taking a little bit of shots from the guys from Totality.
So 14 Gates still holding on to that last place spot. Now it's about pride and just preserving that mentality heading into the next tournament. All is almost lost for them, but they are still 4 strong, trying to find a spot to just hang out. A nice hilltop spot here, Matt.
Yeah, they've got a lot of control from this position. If they have the scopes to make any use over it, they do have the motorcycles as well. They also do have the guys from Method holding another angle on the other side so they can throw some bullets back and forth. Just kind of saying hello, like, I know you're here, I know you're there. We're not necessarily going to see any hard pushes coming over it because there's that big, huge ravine that comes right between them. You can see right now. That's just such a hard push. If any knocks come out of it, it'll probably be an easy
It'll
rest.
be essentially a war of attrition here between Method and Team Gates. Alliance also down below. I've seen Method use this spot in the past, somewhere so close to their home in Pachinki.
Yeah.
Just a little bit to the south. They've got a decent setup here to basically take control of the map all around them. Very important here, considering how close they are to center.
And they still have all their members up. That was one of the things we talked about earlier in the round we wanted to see from them. So they didn't have to do any big, hard shifts. So now they have a very strong control point that they can play around with 4 members still up and alive.
Ghost, another team in an interesting position. Had a bit of interpersonal issues. I think that there's a bit of a communication barrier happening right now. Another team headed to PGI, not having a great performance here. How do you think this affects their mentality moving forward?
I think that naturally they want to do significantly better than what they're seeing today. But this is almost like a regroup, readjust, get back the synergies because naturally they did have to break apart there. And there was like 2 members that were playing from Ghost, 2 members that were on Envy whenever they did make it all the way to Berlin. But they're going to be playing with the full Ghost roster this time around. So really, I think that really what they're focused on is just trying to get back those synergies that really got them into that first LAN win that they had, where they were just showing so much dominance online. Get all that back together.
For Envy, knowing that Cloud9 is nearing, well, they don't know it's Cloud9 just yet, but they are aware that someone is moving in the trees. But for Alliance, they're going at Dignitas. VZ landing the first down and finish on to Uncivil. Kane's having to back off once again. Dignitas playing very passive here, not wanting to take fights, and more fire comes out. Real's trying to land some shots, but those trees preventing anything from landing.
Well, remember we
Is that a
already
regular
saw
grenade? Oh no, we're good. Whew.
Yeah, what's the smoke? I was going to say, wait, what?
I just saw the model. I didn't see the smoke.
Got scared for a second. You know,
yeah, no doubt.
Got to keep your friends in check. Can't let them get the loot. But look at this. We're popping over here with Optic. Totality with a beautiful flank coming into that. Lost with just a nice push off. They're going to get the kill onto Hypoc and Valier.
Really nice team play there. Did not get the was not able to save his teammate rather, but does pick up 2 kills. Does Los HD. So Totality still trying to find their stride here. Not able. I don't think they're in a position to win, but they can definitely get back into the top 5.
And I think that's what a lot of these teams are playing for. There's a certain amount of things that you can say, oh yeah, it's about the money, but it's also about the pride. Remember, a lot of these guys have been playing together for quite a while. You want the bragging rights for a certain degree. You want to be able to say, hey, I came to this event, I performed this well, this is how I came out of it. Nobody wants to be at the bottom of the leaderboards, and you can tell Totality's really coming out gunning. I think Alliance is as well. We haven't had a chance to talk about them. They've been very alive today. They've been going for a lot of very aggressive plays. They may not be getting the position, but man, they are making some beautiful plays.
Out here trying to frag the last man standing from FaZe, not willing to go quietly. Kane's still on his motorcycle trying to find a place to stop, but 4Hacks just trying to, I think, prevent anyone from getting anywhere near him, trying to say, like, this is mine. Get away from me.
That's exactly it. When you're the last guy and you're in the shack like this, you're just like, no, you go away. Look, there's so many people in here. Keep opening and closing the door. Don't let them see it. Just take shots. Make people afraid to be around you, but it doesn't look like Dignitas took the bait.
Yeah, peacocking a little bit there. Trying to plume up and make sure that no one comes anywhere near you.
Stay away from me. Stay away. Look, I'm so scary. Don't come over here. Look, I've got an AK.
Yeah, indeed. But not a lot of ammunition left for Hacksetti. So now that we see this circle begin to close once again. Method playing very well in their current spot, rather, but for Energy, they've arrived right next to Tempo Storm.
Energy holding this building right across the way. This can be a little odd of a place to fight around because you can see that there's all these outer walls. And when you have these outer wall positions, it means you can move to a couple more aggressive spots than you would normally from the window peaks back and forth. But keep in mind, Tempo Storm presently in first place right now. If they get caught up in a long fight right over here with the guys from NRG, that could really stall them or cause them to lose a lot of pieces of equipment that they're really going to need, because it looks like we're really hammering down into a Gatka Fields fight. I'll be honest, you need every piece of equipment, every bit of support, any utility that you have whenever it comes to a Gatka Fields game.
Indeed, and that Gatka Field is unforgiving if you're without that utility. So for now, so many players able to stay alive considering how much space is available, but now it starts to heat up. We have this round and one more to go afterwards. Steezy taking the initial shots at Baja, taking one off the face, and is followed up by Microstar. Hetra now looking to support.
He's the only one alive. Remember, we already saw two members of Optic go down.
Hetra has to decide.
He has to let it go.
There it is.
Yeah, he just can't go for that. It's too risky. They need the position. They just got themselves 4th spot. They just got to let that one go, hop in the buggy, try to go somewhere else because that's not going to work.
And this is good for FaZe. They don't want anyone like Optic getting anywhere closer to them in that leaderboard. They have the 4th position, FaZe in 3rd, and now it's Cloud9 and Envious getting very close together. Riem and Moody actually further away from Frolicker and Stab. But look at this, Method, that hilltop position now going at the Knights. All the smoke's having to come out very early.
I love this. You can tell that a lot of teams sometimes are worried about, hey, should we go loud? Should we give away our position? Method never agrees with that strategy. It's like, no, if we see it, take the shot. You never know what's going to happen off of it because I got to say, sure, the res is going through there, but look at how much utility is being wasted just to try to keep them alive.
Put a bonus ball into the tree there for good measure. Does Raffi. They have all this sight, and they will maintain circle position, and that's going to be Optic going out in 16th place. Disaster for them as well. However, look at that northern portion of the play zone. A lot of good teams holding on good positions. Tempo Storm has the edge, but now looks like it's going to be venerated, and the rest of Envious having to decide to push. And cutting to Tempo Storm on that. It looks like it's going to be, energy going absolutely down as Tempo Storm secures a full team wipe. And that's another team out here.
And so here we are, we're popping back over here with Cloud9 holding down this high ground position, looking down onto Envious. This is a fight that we've been seeing going on for about 6-7 minutes at this point. Neither one wanting to commit, but now the circle, 40 seconds. They know that they have to move. Envy has to push into Cloud9. That's why we're seeing a lot of little weird peaks coming around here because they don't know where the right positions. These guys have been fighting for so long now.
Cloud9 is so far apart. I mean, Frolicker and Stab have got to be feeding information to Moody and Riem, but they're in this split position. Moody is now going to have to either jump in a vehicle with Riem and rejoin his team or make a run in the smoke. Envy is still 4 strong. And look at this, Hacks just chilling.
Well, at this point, Dignitas kind of provides him a little bit of cover. At least Hexete, he has the nice safe bunker that he can play. He's got his little shack over there. Oh, Space Station Gaming starting to get torn apart on the outside as H1 gets dropped on his push off the side. Now down to 2. These are the guys that are in 2nd place right now. They're just trying to find somewhere that they can go to. They tried to push back out, and they had to retreat back to the position they were just at, because remember, we saw them caught in this fight a little while ago.
Space Station is in a weird spot here. Envy now rotating on the hillside just to their left, or sorry, their right, but Cloud9, they've made their way into the zone, and Team Gates has got the entirety of FlyQuest appearing at their doorstep. Tempo Storm staying super active, picking up more kills, and actually, unfortunately, Punich has taken down Steezy with a card knock. That's on. Sharky's down as well. Mortify is aware they're there. The AK rings out, and he does pick up a single kill. FlyQuest in one fell swoop is eliminated. Tempo Storm picking up a few more kills.
And this is the problem. We've got so much of the Gatka field still in play. It's really just this hill where a lot of the teams feel comfortable at. Nobody wants to play in the low ground position. They've just lived here. They've got so much control. Everybody's having to fight around it. Space Station's taking so much damage. Both the guys down to about half-life.
There's nowhere to go.
The totality. Even if they make it through, that Method is just waiting for them.
Space Station barely makes it down, but Andy's there to pick up Vexel. And now Space Station is eliminated in 13th place. This is huge for FaZe. This is meaning that Hax is now staying alive a little bit longer. Space Station Gaming going out now. Tempo Storm is in a good position to solidify their spot in 1st place.
Yeah, I've got to say, if you're a Tempo Storm fan, you have to be really excited right now. Still 4 members up and active. They're still inside the safe zone. They've got a lot of control. They can push up the hillside if they want. Meanwhile, we're popping over here with Knights. Caught in a little bit of a fight with the guys from Method. We've been seeing this kind of go back and forth for a little while now. But I got to say, Tempo Storm in a strong spot right now. They did get control. They got that strong wipe onto NRG a second ago. It means you know they got the kills. FaZe, the only person that's still alive right now that's in contention with them since Optic and Space Station Gaming's out, and FaZe only has 1 member up and alive.
And look what Method can do when they have position and a strong team presence. Andy is free to just fire upon anyone who comes near him. Vitality also under fire from Alliance. Cloud9 looks to be getting the upper hand and will eliminate Envious. So finally that has resolved, but now Tempo Storm needs to decide, how are we going to play this? Where are we going to go? Nowhere to move just yet, but they're on the edge, and now they're going to find themselves having to move once again, the circle not in their favor.
Oh, and it's going right over towards Method.
Wow.
I got to say, they chose a great time to show that promo video, because if you're a fan of Andy Pyro, you've got to be loving this game.
Now's the time.
They've got control. They've got this spot.
Strong, too.
They're still alive. They can just see everybody that has to push across the field or make their way up that hillside.
Tempo Storm now with a huge bill to pay. They're going to have to try and get across this open field. The vehicles are going to be in play. Team Gates aware of their position as well, but for Method, they have this very strong hilltop, but the Knights looking to try and displace them. They're right down below them.
But now we also have Tempo Storm pushing around the outside, slowly creeping up on Gates. Look at Sharpshot. He's managed to sneak right next to Exco. I don't even think that Exco saw him. I don't even know if Sharpshot saw him. Now he does. He does the spin off the backside of it. Zampa tries to light him up. Doesn't get the down. That's going to alert Murtify. That's up at the top.
Look at that
Nate's going to
grenade.
go out. Nice shots coming from one, but then there's the retaliation.
A little bit of a trade happening. Nice throw by Zampa. He does spot a flanking Mortified. Oh, looking for that Car 98 headshot. Not landing. Follow up very close. Dre takes down Mossy and Silo. Just like that, Mortify, the last man standing. The res coming out. Zampa, nice team play.
I gotta say, Tempo Storm feels like they are just on fire right now. They are not afraid to take fights. They are just wiping squads. They are just strolling up and forward. This is a hard push. Trying to push up this hillside is real rough. Specifically, if a team has a high ground position to fire down from the top, that's just nowhere to go. And Gates is gone as now Totality takes down Mortify.
So, I gotta say, the AK, or the invisible AK, the finger guns of Zampa, all in favor right now. Hack's also making a run for it, but he has secured at least a top 10 finish with Space Station Gaming and Optic going out. He might make it. It looks like Tempo is completely distracted. They're moving away from where Hax is running.
It's going to be the guys across the way. It's going to be pot shots coming out there. He does manage to duck down just barely. He's got to slowly creep his way up there. But even if he continues on this push, he's going to be running right into Tempo Storm. But Tempo Storm is caught in a fight with Totality.
So they're completely distracted for Hax. This is all about stealth. We've seen a couple of plays like this through this tournament. Will Hax be able to stay invisible, stay away from the withering eyes of Tempo Storm, who are now very focused on Totality?
I mean, you can see they're just playing confident right now. They're just running down inside of these recesses, down inside the valleys. They don't seem to be afraid of anyone. 8 teams still up and alive, 24 people alive, all things considered. There's still a lot of strong squads still up and active right now. And looks like Ghost is going to take down FaZe. So that's another early out for FaZe.
8th place this time around. I believe it was 9th the last time. Not the start they wanted to the back half of today. But for Balak and Ghost, they are 4 strong as well, looking to just make a statement here. But for Method, so much map control here. Molman shooting down on the Knights still having to push towards them. We're going to see another transition. If Method gets another circle here, this could mean doom for everyone around them, and it will be the case as Krema and the Knights have nowhere to go.
I have to say, kudos to Knights. They have been caught in a very bad position for a very long period of time. They've managed to make the most of it. You can see that they've taken a little bit of damage as they've gone through it, but they've managed to survive. Still 4-man strong. And again, Alliance very quietly performing inside of these rounds. I would really love to see them kind of become a little bit more explosive up here, as now we're starting to get a little bit of exchange as Method's starting to look down the hillside.
Totality's coming too. Totality has moved up a little bit closer to Method. Method having lost Andy, he is down. It looks like the res is coming very quickly. Knights having to recoup as well. So for Totality, now is the time to strike. Do they have the motivation to run up the side of this hill, as Method is completely affixed on the Knights?
Well, if they do, there's going to be Tempo Storm that comes up right back behind him. And yes, you can see Totality just steps up, gets one. Shots go wide on the second, tries to spin on the other one. Roman drops down. We're starting to see a back and forth exchange. I got to say, Totality has taken a lot of damage on that, but somehow still barely alive. It's going to roll down the side of the hill. Maybe it might hit Knights.
I'm glad you're so confident. Molman looking for the low side flank. He's got Totality in his sights, and here we go. Molman going for it now. Totality on the ropes. Smithy is super low, but he trades back.
With no life. Somehow he does that. And here comes the strong push. Rafi wants this. He knows where they're at.
Standing.
Trying to make his way up here. It's so risky. You can hear grenades are now starting to crash down around him. He wants to go for the shots.
Finish one.
Gets one of them. Spins back around. Trying to get more information, but no, it's Tempo Storm that takes him down.
Zampa has just completely run all by himself. The Zampa flank all alone, and he takes down Method, displacing the hilltop. Now King of the Hill is Tempo Storm. The Knights have their seam. They have to run at Totality. This is turning into a bloodbath atop this hill.
I gotta say, this is probably the deadliest game of King of the Hill we're gonna see as far as this goes today. These guys are all just vying for control over the top of it, and right now it is Tempo Storm, but you can see so many different squads just trying to sneak their way up.
Voxic now going on the high side, looking for the rest of Totality. Krema has absolutely eviscerated Smithy and Lowe's HD, now going at Tempo Storm. Texas looking for more, but Sharpshot follows up. The Knights now on the ropes. Tempo Storm rolling through this end game.
Kramer with a flank coming off the backside of this. You can see he's gone for a reposition. This could be a beautiful nade as so many of the guys from Tempo Storm have to group up
right
at
in
this
the pocket.
Time. I think it's going to connect with Zip, but does take him down. This is going to put a lot of pressure on the Tempo Storm. You can see they're retreating back from the hillside.
Knights have stayed strong. They have been in every fight so far. They've displaced so many teams. And Ghost quietly holding on to Balak. Alliance is there as well. Look at Balak. He's got a bit of a flank here on Alliance. He hasn't been able to move just yet. He's hearing all of this happen around him. He's just trying to secure placement at this stage. He's got lots of ammunition, a couple of kills. Real's the closest man to him. Alliance sneaking around. They have been quiet through this game. Tempo Storm taking a couple of casualties.
I don't know if I like Tempo's positioning that comes into this. This is very, very risky. They kind of surrendered so much information gathering process that they could gain by retreating into a full defensive position. You can tell that they're just playing for position at this point because we are down to 4 teams, 9 people alive. That should give you an idea on how many like little solos that we've got hiding around right now. We've got Knights with 3 people up. We've got Alliance with 3 people up. We've got Tempo Storm with 2, and then it's going to be Ghost Balak just kind of hiding out in the back.
We've had a bit of a lull here only due to the precarious position of so many of these teams. The Knights holding the ridge flank. They don't want Tempo Storm getting any ground on them. Alliance has the zone. Balak has to move. Tempo Storm has to come out of their huts and down the ridge. And all of this vision is held by the Knights right now. They've taken a ton. Hopefully they have enough utility, enough meds to make this work.
But look, nobody wants to peek up to the top of the hill because they know everybody is looking up there. That's where all the violence has been happening. You've got Kramer that's kind of creeped his way up there, just getting a little bit of information here and there. Tempo Storm does have a little bit of a place they can run down and get a little plateau that's over there that they can play around. I think it's going to be all about how Knights moves, because if Knights move, they could walk right into Alliance.
I think that the Knights have, the most information here. This FPP game mode does not allow any of that omniscient camera work that would be so important in a situation like this. But now for Balak, he's, again, quietly making his way there. Gonna time to boost up. The circle pressing him now. Alliance is there to catch him, but what will Tempo Storm do? They're gonna have to come down this hill. The Knights slowly taking zone control. That flank not going to happen. Kramer, the watchful eye, not allowing anyone to get behind the Knights. Really liking their positioning here.
But Balak can make such a big play here. If he makes any type of strike and decides to stab anybody in Alliance right in the back as he creeps forward, but Reels is waiting for it. Like, look, you can see he's beat it in. He's like, I know it. I hear it. There's something going on around me.
Right.
I don't know exactly where it is,
senses.
but he's just trying to survey the surroundings. He knows that somebody has to encroach from one of these angles, and this is so nerve-wracking as a player because look at how little information you have. And Balak does get 1, 2. Spins on it. No,
just finish it off. Yeah, just finish it off. Yep.
So now we've got the nades. He looks like they're throwing the Molotov just to be like, nope, don't go that way. Tempo Storm guys now coming alive off this since they have some information to play off of.
So for Tempo Storm now having to move, Balak does some damage. He's in a good spot. The nade should bounce away from him and down out of harm's way. Balak now getting pressure from both sides. He's just trying to hold on to the sharp shot. Is pressing down. He wants to get this kill. He's got a first aid, however. The Knights, meanwhile, are just allowing this to happen. Alliance not being very active here. Just no trade happening. Just lost a player with nothing to gain from it. Oh, here you go. Little molly for you.
I take the risk with it. I mean, it's a Molotov. What's the worst that happens? I mean, worst to worst, it's going to make it hard for Balak to move at this point. But you can see that Knights, though, with this skirmish that's happening, everybody's separating out, and now Knights just get so much control over the circle.
He's going to try and sneak up behind Balak, go for that choke-out maneuver. Balak just looking at sharp shot and the rest of Tempo Storm, but look at the Knights. They're pushing a flank on the low side. Now is the time to seize this game for them. They've given up the vision. Balak is down to the top 3. Alliance now looking. Oh, I don't know about this for the Knights. They've given up all the high ground.
Drayden now knows exactly where they are. He heard where that fight happened at. So there we go. T-Bone does spin back around and get a drop onto him. So that's going to put a lot more pressure onto Knights. We've got Drayden off in the distance. T-Bone seems to know where he's at. Stepping back and away. Okay, gets away from the grenade on it. But Tempo Storm now gets all the information on this. But they aren't stepping down the hillside yet. They can't spot anybody.
T-Bone does finish off Kramer. Now it's all about the Knights and Alliance with Tempo Storm trying to finish it off. Sharp shot gets down VZ. Alliance allowing this game to slip away. T-Bone the last man standing, and he will get finished off by sharp shot going alive here. 9 kills. Maluk is down, and now we're in a situation where it's the Knights and Tempo Storm, a 1v1 situation. Maluk is down. Sharp shot looking to finish. He has it in his hands, and he grabs it from the Knights. Tempo Storm, amazing finish.
2 rounds in a row. They are holding on to the #1 spot, and they followed it up with another win and a ton of kills. Sharp Shot has 11 kills by himself. That is